All right. Welcome back, everyone. Um, Today's Sunday weekly watch list that we have. First time doing the video for you guys, and hopefully this will guide you guys through what happened last week and what did I do in terms of most of the trades that I plan to trade, and I told you guys in the channel as well. So hopefully this will help you out. Stick around and make sure to pay attention to all the details. I also create this recap and I will send it to you guys on your email weekly watch list. It will automatically send to your weekly watch list if you sign up, and you also get the written version of this. But I'm kind of like walk you guys through that. What are the top that we should watch for the next few days and the upcoming week, and what are the top watch lists that I personally want to have them, and what are the back pocket list, basically the stock that has been in our radar but not really pumped or was really tradable during last week. It would probably be like the back pocket list will be the stocks that are we traded overall for a last month and last quarter and stuff like that. So it's a brand new month. We're in October. We're in this last month of the quarters. 2020. We were in this last quarter of 2022. This 3 months left, and we should just make sure that we can maximize our profit, make sure our trades are going according to the plan, and definitely educate ourselves every single day and adapt ourselves to the market. And that's what I basically do, and I always encourage you guys in the channel to make sure to adapt yourself. And during this tough time in the market, and as we all see, overall market is not doing very well, and there's not a lot of a liquidity in the market to really play around or kind of look at it as an investment. We definitely have some more downturn by upcoming months, and possibly a new year 2023 would be definitely more challenging for a lot of investors, a lot of institutions, a lot of retail traders or retail investors. I would say this can be very hectic for next few months. And as we all know, the rate hikes still continues. Inflation still unstable, and we don't know what's gonna happen for the next year. Well, the only thing that is clear as a you can kind of see that we're in this recession, and we're moving to have this downturn, which can be good for a lot of people that are cash available or liquid, as I mentioned in the previous videos. Always make sure that you're prepared for a downturn, because during the downturn a lot of people make the fortune, create the wealth. This is it's a great time. It's a great time to see these downturns and take advantage of a long-term vision also, and making sure your short-term doesn't really affect your long-term or destroy your long-term plan. So keep that in mind. Always have balance on your both sides, and make sure that you're prepared. So without further ado, let's get into the watch list. I'm gonna start off with our last day of trade, Friday, with two great trades that we had in FXLV. So before that, I want to kind of like tell you guys a little bit about what you should do in terms of current condition. I see people asking me a lot, what do you suggest? Are you suggesting investing right now, or buying and holding and seeing a bigger picture, or holding a really long time, or this is a really lower price for all these stocks or all these companies? As you guys know, the stuff that we trade and I personally trade is not suggestible to have a very long-term vision on it, or even for a few days. The stuff that we focus on is purely day trading, and a lot of investors at the moment, they realize that day trading is more beneficial. In short term, you just day trade, and you definitely get the most out of it, because think about it, when there is no upside in any sectors, or in any markets at the moment, so you won't be able to really hedge your investment, because a prospectus, or intelligent investor is a person that really can be able to hedge by some other markets, hedge their position to be able to really survive, or make a return on their investment. So at the moment, if you really want to follow the smart money, you definitely make sure that your portfolio is focused on day trading. You take your profit and go home and come back fresh, and restart again, and keep doing that. And I always encourage you guys, think about it as a business, and treat it as a business, because if you don't treat it as a business, you definitely look at it as a job, and job is not always efficient. Like, you always want to get rid of your job or go to a new job. So think about it as a business. But if it's your business, you really treat it well. You really treat it differently, because it can become your baby. So think about that type of have that type of mentality and mindset towards it. It's always great to make sure your psychology behind every trade that you make, or every investment that you make, it's reasonable, and there's always something that you should learn from it. If you made a mistake on your investing, if you made a mistake on your trading, there's nothing wrong to learn from your mistakes or trades. And I always tell people, it's okay. It's not a problem. It's a process. It's a progress for you. So you can learn from each and mistake that you made. Every one of us used to be like that. So I mean, in terms of the experienced traders, so it's really something that it takes time, it takes courage, it takes dedication, and takes that right discipline that you find for yourself once you're trading. Make sure that you always follow your plan. What I mean by plan is just, if you have a certain price entry or certain exit plan, just make sure to execute it. Just do that. Don't fall into the emotion side of it. Don't let the greed or really FOMO. I mean, these are really basic stuff, basic terminology that me personally tell people a lot of time. It's probably, if you heard that a lot, it's probably cliche for you, but you need to hear it more often in order to make sure that it really stick into your head. Always you have it, you have it in your mind, and you're never going to fail your plan, or change your plan. So it will help you to always remind yourself that you need to be disciplined. You need to you should not get into the FOMO or greed on a trade. So keep that in mind. That's number one tips that I can give you. It doesn't really cost you much. It's just really important to understand the term. It can really cost you dramatically, because if you don't follow those terms or don't understand it, it can really liquidate your account in a one or in a blink of eye. So remember, always make sure that your plan is set and ready for your next opportunities. And keep that in mind. There's always opportunities in the market, and don't have that idea of missing the opportunities. And it's not gonna happen. There's every single day you see opportunities represent itself, and that's the beauty of the stock market. That's one reason that I like it, because I can treat it as a business, and I know that every day I find the opportunity. And if I don't find an opportunity, there's nothing wrong with it. We can go different routes. So I am going to kind of walk you guys through what happened last week. FXLV was my number one setup. I look at it. I personally love the way that the stock was set up. Usually the setups is very important for me. There are three kind of setups that I also teach that in details in one-on-one session, but I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of overview that how to look at your setups. There's different kind of setups, setup A, B, C, or D. But for me, this particular ticker was really a plus, or you don't really see that much of A plus setup these days, but this was kind of like the A setup that I wanted, and I mainly focus on it in the pre-market because of the exhaust at the pop. I think it was at yes, it was 8. It came out at 8, and then the news came out, and then the initiate part failed. The pattern setup, usually never. I do not suggest you to just trade right off the bat in this area. It's not really ideal, especially when you're near to the open. You don't want to kind of stock into that, because there's always another pumper at that time that probably can take all the majority of the volume before itself, or take all the attention to it. So for this particular, all the criteria meet for me. I didn't see any other stocks that pumping that at that time, and then there was this huge order flow that happened over a really small period of time. As you can see, like in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I saw the fresh volume came in and pushed the price back up above this yellow line. As you can see, this is my VWAP area. So I like the setup at that time, and I wanted to make sure that I can trade this in a way that I wanted. And my plan really worked out, and personally nailed it. And I mentioned to the channel, make sure to watch this above that 305. That was my initial price target, that it can really break that area. And you guys can see that 308 was a massive volume after a while, and then 305 was the first kind of resistant first level that needed to break. A few attempts happened, and then failed. That's why I wanted to get a confirmation, and at the open we had this confirmation. Overall, a 10-11% gain, not bad at all. I'll take it, and I only focus on those small gains at the moment. I don't really care about huge gains, because that can really hurt. If you really want to accumulate towards your setup, you got to make sure that one of the criteria for your plan is you're going for small gains, because the market is not for bigger gains. You gotta stick to that rule. Don't really fall into other ideas that you can make I don't know, 70% on this. I mean, it's doable. You can do that if you know how to scale in, but keep that in mind. Market adaptability is very important. It's very essential, and you should always make sure that you're going for at least a smaller gains to be safe and to be profitable every single day. So FXLV was number one, and AIMD came out with news that I think it was a positive result from Omicron, something related to Omicron and Omicron variant. So the selling the news type of setup. So you can see that in the pre-market we had this very positive action, and then at the open I remember that the stock really tried to hold its gain over that 220 level, but unfortunately no volume, no fresh volume, no new orders that came in that wanted this thing to go higher. In my opinion, it could go much higher than this, but obviously it failed. Not really expecting this couldn't happen on this one, but the best time to trade this was pre-market and at the open, and those are the times that you should only focus on. I mean, if you really come to the market at around late or launch hour, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna get anything out of market. So this is not suggestible. Be early. Early birds always gets the worms. That's one code that I always tell people. And that's really true, because if you're really early, you know how to trade it, and you should be done by few hours, and at 11:30 you should be done at least. So at most. So keep that in mind. Always be early, and if you can do that, you definitely benefit a lot of from day trading. So yeah, AMD was one of those, and then we had this ATXI crazy run that I mentioned last week. I in the video. Beautiful play. It had this 200% runner in the multi-day runner, as you can see here. The volumes just stay above a range that the stock that it can really show itself and hold to the level that it can be really tradable. It's really squeezed up because of this very tiny float on it. I think it's like 700k or something, and then very small short float on it. That can be something that short traders are looking for, and let this thing just run, multi-days run. As you can see, it's been 3 days that really hold up to the very new high level, and stay consolidated at this 2 days and keep the range, never really crack down or broke to the downtrend line. It kept that level, and it was very successful. So I mentioned in the watch list, I would not really expect this really higher than $18. I don't think. I mean, if the squeeze keeps continue with this tiny value, there's a lot of possibilities that can happen in these really micro floats, and they can really reach to that level. But in my opinion, I think at the 14 level, if it's reached to 14 level and break above it, above 14 level and 1820 would be more like a halt situation, which I don't personally like it, and I do not suggest anyone, if you're a beginner, to trade that, because it's going to be very volatile and parabolic. So you don't want to caught up into that, the price, the spread on it can be huge. if it's not really a lot of volume coming in, but it can possibly run up on a really huge volume. But as you guys can see, it doesn't really have that much of trading volume on a day. So it's very important to keep that in mind. Don't really don't really stick around with it, but I have it on the watch list. I would personally think there's room to the $14 for a long trade, but obviously there's definitely a short plan on this from short traders. They want this to probably not hold up that much. It's not really there's not a lot of short float on this one yet, so it's like 3%. And so it can anything could happen in the next few days, but I do not expect too much for Monday or Tuesday. So let's see how this can really goes, but keep that in mind. Adtx high on watch list for every I guess every traders are now really looking on this one, and it's their top watch list. So ATXI, and we had BIAF, one of those really great pre-market queens, and we had this runner in the pre-market that just ran and pumped and sadly couldn't hold its gain, and it's just had those one of those PR that they release I think they released a warrants news. So company release a tradable and non-tradable warrants. So usually when it comes down to these type of news, you have to understand the news better, because warrants are usually not a it's not a huge news. They're just giving the right to buy and sell that security. So some of the, based on the news, some of them I think it's around 300,000 or something. It wasn't tradable. Yeah, based on that. And then this really helps the company in general. So the news was kind of faulty, and in my opinion, I don't think it can pop again, because it's an IPO. We have that in mind. It's an IPO, and IPOs tend to really push higher when they are very oversold, and in this case this stock is complete oversold, but not really gonna move that much if there's not gonna be a trend on it, or if there's not gonna be if this stock is not gonna be on the top watch list. So this is very important to have in mind. Make sure that the stock follow the trends, and keep that in mind. You always have to follow the trends. If the stock is not in the criteria that you want, and there's very little volume, it's just coming and go, you should definitely avoid trading that stock. Or if you see the trend as is coming in, which we saw that last week in the pre-market and at the open, and that's it, and you don't really want to stick around for this type of setup. So it's very important. Keep that in mind. Don't overtrade these type of tickers. It's not worth it. So the next one, I think we had a great one, SNTI, another biotech. So these biotechs and healthcare sectors tend to usually just pumped during the pre-market mainly, and we saw these huge trend that for the past few months we only see these or gambling sector or biotechs are relatively biotechs are famous for their pump and dump type of actions. So SNTI, not really a specific news, but I think it was a analyst price target. Usually analyst price target are not going to move the price quickly, but if the stock is very on the lower float, and as we saw in this particular stock had 62 million shares in one day, so it's not bad based on the experience from other low float traders. It's really ideal for a stock like this. So it can really run back up. There's this price target, but don't rely on these type of news, because it can really takes a lot of time to really happen. But it's just the price target. It doesn't mean that it can really go to that price target unless there is a huge trend behind it and it can drive the price up. So keep that in mind. That is about SNTI. And next one we have Sober, SOBR. I think this is one of those stock that I personally missed out on last week on Friday action. It's a great setup, but it's very it's tiny volume that can really run. I mean, I didn't see much of volume on it, and as you guys probably seen, we had this multi-days runner on this particular, and stock has room, really has room to go higher for another third day, but I don't expect too much because of huge short attack that can really drop these actions. I mean the price down, because not a lot of liquidity, not a lot of orders are coming in. So it can really affect that stock to not really hold its gain. So yeah, I missed this one, and I think they had two news. One was a private placement, and then before that they announced sales strategy and national distribution. And I do don't forget that I do like the technical part of this, because it's really on this pattern that can really shape up. So the pattern is there and the technical is there, as long as all the criteria can meet. And firstly, if the volume is there, I do want to see more on this one, probably for the next few days. High on watch, definitely. Have this in your watch list, and make sure you are trading it accordingly if you want to trade it. And yeah, so Silver was the best one. And I have back pocket tops, TOPS. This is one of those stock that really doesn't have too much of downrange and uprange, in my opinion, because I mean multi-day runners, a lot of shorts on this, but they have good fundamental. I mean, I don't really look that much deep on the fundamental part of it, but it's very important. I teach how you guys should really combine the fundamental and technical, which part of the fundamental and technical you guys should combine together, and do your research. And if you want to really find out in depth about every stocks, I only look at very few criteria on the fundamental side. So in my session, if you want to have the private session with me, I do tell you guys how to really scan those and find those very fundamental, and combine it together with your technical and with your chart and value and profile and all that. So tops is one of those things, and they have really like net revenue growth, but not really. I'm not really expecting too much of this, so I'll keep that in watch. And the next one that we have was Adtx. Adtx, they had this public offering reverse split. So we had few stocks that had reverse split, and they tend to ran up higher than expected, because there wasn't really much going on in other PRs that came out. You can really rely on those actions. So these reverse split I saw, there's a lot of news like that, and stock really gap up to the range that it's really tradable. Adtx is one of those. Actually, I do like the stock in general, because it has all these all these massive gap up, and then hold its gain, and then stop to consolidate, doesn't really drop massively. So it's one of those stock that I personally look forward to see more action in this in the next few days. But keep that in mind. One of the reasons is just it's really like tiny float, over 63% short float on this one. That's very important to make sure that it can really spike and squeeze. If all these short trades are the stop limits are hit, and these huge cover pops can drive the price higher. But keep that in mind, that's not only the case. It can really go opposite if the stock tends to really reach to that level, which in my opinion, I think 467 is the next huge resistance. So I do not want to see, I don't think that it can really be that much higher. It can possibly go, but it really depends on how the fresh volume can really comes in and do this. And then lastly, we had Mlco. I think it was our first few days. We trade this on Monday, and the Chinese pumper. I think few of the other ones were Chinese too. Keep that in mind. The Chinese stocks are really not ideal to hold, or have a very huge size on them, unless if you know how to trading on it, and making sure that you understand the PR, making sure what are the action on it. This Chinese pumpers are relatively comes and obvious. It's very obvious to see that they drop the price intentionally. So you can detect those area, and make sure that you not get get caught up into that range. So Mlco was great. On the Monday we had this huge gap up, and the trends was there, the gap was there. So relatively, I had this scalp strategy on it, and that's it. Just a small gainer on this, and I expect this to not hold, and that exactly what happened. It's not really hold that much, but keep that in mind. It's been a few days that this is stock. That's why I keep it on the watch list. It's been a few days that is stock that try to really move up with the insiders. Not a lot of insiders in it, and that's one red flag to keep that in mind. So the stock really trying to hold that range up, and possible run up again, if they come up with another PR or some insider action. So I have this in the watch list. So it's not bad to look at it for the next few days. Let's see how all these tickers going to react for the next few days. We definitely going to see new tickers, but these are always good to have on our watch. So I'll wrap it up here. Make sure that you guys always have your plan, and make sure your trading makes sense every day for you. Don't get caught up into too much sizing. Don't go too big these days. It's not really worth it to go huge size. You're not gonna be if you don't know what exactly you're doing, you're definitely not gonna make money. if you go huge size. But obviously, if you have a plan, if you know what you're exactly doing, there's nothing wrong to go size and make sure you have it really reasonable or meeting your average gain profit. So keep that in mind. This market is day tradable only. Do day trade. I do also send you guys like a watch list for the swing trading, but I personally, there should be only like few tickers or like one ticker that I'm looking for swing trading. I personally don't really look anything else than GEO. As I mentioned, in a few weeks, don't expect that too much to happen. I'm not gonna give you guys the swing ideas every week. That's not gonna happen. My main focus is day trading. So if something tend to be really great, like GEO on and fundamental side and the technical part, I do mention it in the watch list, so you get it in the channel, or if you sign up to the newsletter, you get it by your email. So you can have those kind of take a look at it as well. So that's it. I'm gonna close it today. We had a great session. Reach out to me if you have any question, or if you struggle, or if you need help, or if you want to have a one-on-one session with me. I would be more than happy to help you out and make sure that you're on the right track. So reach out to me or email us at support@simulalerts.com, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be more active on YouTube, so yeah, have it on that. Take care, team. Talk to you guys on Monday.